everybody. This is Making Sang here, first name making. It's Monday. It's Adventures in Marketing, and we are so excited. Well, I'm really excited because we've got I can't even get my words out. I'm so excited. We've got the incredible Teresa Heath-Wareing with us today. Let's bring her up to the stage. Hi, Teresa. How are you?
I am really good, thank you. How very professional that all looked. I love it.
Lovely. Now, Teresa, you don't really need an introduction, but just for those of us who haven't heard of you before, let's tell the world who you are and what you do.
So, thank you, Making. I am Teresa Heath-Wareing. I am now a business and mindset coach, strategic coach. So I have been in this world a very long time. I've been in marketing now almost 20 years, which makes me feel so very old. I've had my business 10 years, but I have an online business that has memberships and courses, and I do one-to-one coaching as well. And then a couple of years back, I qualified as a certified coach. So now a lot of what I talk about is obviously the mechanics of marketing. That's my background. I have a degree in it, is wonderful and brilliant. And I can give you like the best strategies to use. However, if your mindset is not working for you, then it doesn't matter what strategies you put in place, or it doesn't matter what strategies I give you, it's not going to quite work. So that is pretty much what I do on a day-to-day basis. I also have a podcast, which is like 330 episodes long. So been going around a long time. And I speak. And obviously, I'm going to be speaking at Adventures in Marketing, which is very exciting.
Very exciting indeed, because you were one of the very popular speakers from last year. So, Nikki and Abby ran Adventures in Marketing in Edinburgh for the first time last
Mm.
year, and you were one of the most popular speakers. So, they've actually to come back.
That's
Now,
brilliant.
this year, you're going to be talking about our good friend, self-sabotage.
Yes, 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 yes.
Now, let's tell the world a little insight, share a little insight into what you're going to be speaking about on the 8th of February.
So I think most people think they know what self sabotage is, or might have an idea of what self sabotage is, but I'm not sure they're realizing how much it's getting in the way of them running and growing their business. Because we sometimes do these things that we don't even realize are self sabotage. So when we come and sit at our desk, and like I did, well, I actually didn't do the self sabotage. I looked at it and thought, I need to tidy my desk. This is all like, this is one view. The view I have is very different. But like that's a form of self-sabotage when I used to, this is so funny, and some people might go, no, this isn't true. But honestly, every time I had a really big speaking gig, so right before my first speaking gig in the States, there was like 400 attendees. Pat Flynn was on before me, huge thing, got a sore throat. Did another huge speaking gig, got a sore throat. Another big speaking gig, got a sore throat. Not even kidding you. Like it came up every time. And I was doing my TEDx and I spoke to someone as we were running up to it. And I was like, I always get this sore throat. And they're like, you need to work on your mindset. Like this is your body doing something to protect you, because it's like, don't do it, don't do it. And I think that's the other thing that people don't realize, that self sabotage has a really good reason for being there. Like a really good reason. Our brain is so very smart and so caring. It's trying to keep us safe. And even when we go, no, it doesn't make sense. I want to do this thing. Like I want to grow my business, or I want to lose weight, or I want to do this thing. Inevitably, there is something in there somewhere that goes, yeah, but it's not safe if I do that. So for me, it's going to be about explaining how self-sabotage shows up. I've got a great kind of like case study of someone I've worked with and what it stopped them from doing. And then we're going to look at how might it show up for you, because it shows up, like I said, in all different ways. It might show up in you procrastinating. It might show up in you getting ill. It might show up in a way where you have an addiction, or you do something that's bad for you. Like it can show up in so many different ways. And it can show up as simply as talking yourself out of things. Like as, spending too long trying to make a decision or missing out on something altogether because you're not sure what you should do. So we look at how different ways it can do it and then why might it be doing it. And in the presentation, I'm going to walk you through the steps that you can do in order to actually recognize, because that's the first thing. Anything to do with mindset, it's about slowing you down enough to recognize what is going on. Because if you can't recognize it, then we can't change it. Like if you're doing it all the time, and sometimes it takes a coach, someone like me, to go, that's interesting. You've done that again. And then them go, oh, yeah, no. And then us like talk it through, and then them start to realize, oh, yeah, I am. And that's what it is. So, first of all, it's recognizing what you do. And then what steps can we put in place to figure out why you do it? Because, like I said, there's always a good reason. Unfortunately, our brain doesn't know the difference between a lion trying to eat us and us going live and that being a bit scary. Like it just kicks in the, fight, flight, and fawn. And we just go, okay, I can't do it, even though we know a lion's not going to eat us. But our brain doesn't quite know the difference, or our nervous system doesn't know the difference. And then, okay, once we've worked out why we might be trying to protect ourselves, how can we then push forward and do it anyway? And for me, self-sabotage is one of those things that I don't know any business owner that doesn't have it, including myself. But once you start to get to understand it, get to have some empathy for yourself and go, oh, yeah, that makes sense. Like, I don't want to look a fool. I don't want to fail at something. I don't want to be shown up to be a not expert. But once we can understand it and give ourselves some sympathy and understanding and then move past it, it's a game changer in business.
I absolutely love that, Teresa. And I'm so glad. I mean, the theme of Adventures in Marketing is step by step. So, from the sounds of it, you are going to be giving us not only a case study of how you were able to recognize it within one of the people that you coached, but you're also going to be giving step by step guide in how we can recognize it in ourselves. Is that
Mhm.
right?
Yeah, 100%. And then what I've done is I've put together a workbook because I am all about like, with anything to do with mindset, it's never going to be, I can't say something on stage and that's it. All your self sabotage is gone. If only that was the case. I mean, I'd be a millionaire, quite honestly. So, the other thing I put together for the people who are attending is a workbook that basically they can download, and it will take them through the steps that I've talked them through and give them the time to go through and do it themselves. So, what is it that I'm doing? Okay, that's interesting. That's my line for everything. Like, so if something is going not very well in my life or something is awful, I go, that's interesting. Even when I want to go, this is awful, I hate it, this is all horrible, and when I have a breakdown, I very slightly oddly go, that's interesting. But if we can come from that point of view of being the scientist and not the judge, because we judge ourselves, we are so horrible to ourselves. Like, we speak to ourselves in a way that we would never speak to anybody else. And I think if we can start to just have a bit of kindness to ourselves and love ourselves and give ourselves a break and go, okay, I recognize I'm doing this. I'm not going to say I'm an idiot because I just spent 3 hours cleaning my office when really what I should have been doing was writing a proposal or going live or whatever. Instead of beating myself up, I'm going to go, okay, that makes sense. That makes sense. I was scared. I'm scared. This stuff is scary. And the other thing I want to remind like the people at Adventures in Marketing, but anybody watching this, is if you are in business and running a business, this stuff is scary. Like, we are brave. We are so, so brave because there are so many people. Like, if I take my personal circle, i.e., not friends that I've met through business stuff, not friends that I've gathered along these years of being a business owner, but if I think of my original circle, there is like no one that runs a business in it. No one. Because this stuff is hard and scary. So the very first thing we need to do is like high five ourselves, pat ourselves fully on the back and go, the fact that I am even here showing up, running a business means I am 10 times braver than most people I know because this stuff can be hard. And therefore, if I can do this, I can do the next thing. And if I can do that, I can do the next thing.
I love that. And for anyone who hasn't bought their tickets yet, why not?
Oh, craziness.
please go to please go to adventuresinmarketing.uk. You need to hear Teresa speak. We need to get that workbook, don't we, in
Yes.
order to recognise the signs of sabotage, or slowing down enough to reflect
Yeah.
on what we do and why we do it, right? Now, Teresa, and you're going to be sharing a case study as well that you
Yeah.
said before, which is fantastic. Now, are there any final words before we end this broadcast? Any sort of other hints and tips that we can expect from your talk on the 8th of February?
So one of the things I want to say before I see if there's anything else in my talk that I want to cover, but one thing I want to say is obviously I attended last year and I attend a lot of events. Like I speak and I love it. There was something so very special about Adventures in Marketing. One, it's in Edinburgh, which who doesn't love Edinburgh? It's stunning. And and I don't know about anybody else, but like we do a lot of stuff in London, obviously, and it's nice to go a different direction. And for me, actually, like on the train, it's like 3 hours, which it's actually quicker for me to get to Edinburgh than it is for me to get to Newcastle. Which, if anybody's watching, they know that I've spoke every year at another event in Newcastle, but it's actually quicker for me to get to Edinburgh. So Edinburgh is stunning for first off. Secondly, the location of the event was just brilliant. The room was great. And again, like when people sign up to events or want to go to events, there's these little things that you do need to think about. The food was brilliant. The connection in the room was wonderful. Like they were just the nicest group of people, really, really lovely group of people. And I know why this is. It's because, like attract like, and Abby and Nikki are so lovely that they're only going to attract the best people. So if you're sat there thinking, I do want to go, but it's a long way, well, take that as some time. Unfortunately, this year I have got to go up and down like day before, day after. Whereas the year before, last year, I actually booked in an extra day and just had another day in Edinburgh because it's so lovely. But for me, I need this time out of my business. I need this time away from my desk, away from doing the calls, to be inspired, to be motivated, to mix with people. I met some beautiful humans who still reply to my stuff today, who still comment on my social media today. So I think if you're thinking about one, going to an event at all, pick one in a beautiful location like Edinburgh. Two, pick one with a good and different lineup. Like again, this is another thing. The speakers they had last year, there were some brilliant different speakers. For me as a speaker, there was a different audience. Like I wasn't looking at the same people who I look at other events. Again, this year I am really excited to hear from some of the people that they've got because they're different. I've never heard from them before. So I know they're going to have a brilliant lineup. And if you're nervous about going to these things, don't be nervous. I am an extroverted introvert. Get me on the stage, I'll stand there all day and talk. I love it. But in a big group of people, I can often be quite introverted, but it's such a lovely, lovely space, such a nice group of people. I promise you, you will not be at all like out of your comfort zone. You'll be fine. You might be nervous walking in, but you'll be great. So it is a really, really wonderful event. So definitely, definitely, definitely do go along and get your ticket if you haven't already. And it's really good value as well. So yeah, that's what I wanted to mention about the event. So hopefully, that encourages a few people. But the other thing I'm going to include in this talk is what Chris Hemsworth has to do with our mindset. That's all I'm telling you. That's all I'm telling you. Like any talk that's got Chris Hemsworth in it, in my book, you got to view every time. Like you don't want to miss out on it. And there just happens to be a gif of Chris Hemsworth as well. So that alone should sell it.
Well, thank you so much for your time,
My
Teresa. I am
pleasure.
so looking forward to the 8th, looking forward to Chris Hemsworth as well. And as Teresa says, if you haven't bought your ticket, please go to adventuresinmarketing.uk, go grab your ticket now, come and hang out with us in sunny Edinburgh, listen to a plethora of incredible speakers like Teresa, and we'll look forward to seeing you there.